Security in cloud is a function of design. It's a function of architecture, much less a function of monitoring and intrusion detection. By the time you've detected something, the damage has already been done a long time ago. It's the design of the system. And so another name for misconfiguration is naive or bad design. 90% of hacking is discovery. And more than 90% of defending is knowledge. So data and information aren't good enough. You need knowledge. And to have knowledge means you have to understand the threats. I would say every time there is a breach, somebody should be able to explain to you why you are not vulnerable to that style of breach. A lot of times people want a checklist of things that if things are configured a certain way, they know they're secure. This would be a very, very long checklist, but many security teams are overconfident about the coverage of their knowledge of where they're actually at risk. The main thing I see that executives need is to be more aware of risk and where it really lies, as opposed to just believing that they're covered because somebody on their team said that they're covered. We see this a lot in the cloud security marketplace. What is policy as code and why is it a good solution? So the first thing is it's code. Okay, it is programming code. It is logic, and it is logic expressed in a way that developers can modify, create new, and keep up to date and innovate with. So you've made a lot of work. You have incomplete coverage, probably radically incomplete coverage when compared to real hacks, which is all that matters. Right? Checklists don't matter. Stopping hackers matters. You have to have context. And by context, I mean the whole environment. So what you're probably doing is employing a grab bag of point solutions, perhaps all acquired from one vendor with one product name, that are insufficiently trying to solve little pieces of what policy as code can solve fundamentally and strategically. If you're doing kind of cloud the right way, you're building the infrastructure for the application as a side effect of building the application, as opposed to going and buying a pile of infrastructure and shoving apps into it. When you create an app, you create the infrastructure to run that app. And that is done with code. And that means developers own it. And there's a simple reason for this. Developers are the ones who understand it. You have to have constant situational awareness because the hackers are automated. And so that knowing the environment is a big part of securing infrastructure in the cloud and securing the cloud in general. Now, the second thing is the mentality has shifted on cloud from trying to detect intrusions in real time. You're not going to be able to. And by the time you do, they've taken everything they want anyway. So that is obsolete. Instead, what organizations that are successful do is focus on prevention. Then the third thing we see all of them do is enlist the developers in the process by empowering them with tools. And so the developers and the engineers that are building these systems get pulled in to this virtuous cycle of building secure systems. All right. And the way you do that with developers is by giving them tools, specifically policy as code.